G'day and welcome back to the channel, Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I'm the Ginger Ninja and these are my Franchise Friday movie reviews. And we're kicking off a new franchise as voted by you, Wishmaster. Now, this one came out in 1997, which, to be honest, surprised me. I actually felt that this came out in the early 90s, not the late 90s, so yeah. Anyway, look. Let's get into it. And look, before I do want to say a big thank you to all my new and existing subscribers. Like, truly, I say it every week, but it does mean the world to me. So thank you so much for your continued support. So let's get into this film because I'm really looking forward to looking at these. I have heard good and bad things about the entire franchise, but this one is, wow, what a way to kick it off. So, directed by Robert Kurtzman, the film stars Tammylauren and andrewdivoff. These are our two main protagonists and antagonists. But it's the rest of the cast that it's really a who's who of horror. You've got angusscrimm doing the introduction and narration, robertenglund, tedraimi, josephpilato, reggiebannister, georgebuckflower, kanehodder, tonytodd. Now, what a cast. And yes, a lot of these are cameos, but wow, that's got me sold straight up. Like, really. Now the plot. A demonic djinn attempts to grant its owner 3 wishes, which will allow him to summon his brethren to Earth. Cool, so demonic genie, wishes, invasion. Cool. Now, I mentioned this came out in 1997, and honestly, I could have sworn this thing came out in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, like, 93, 94 maybe. 97, like, I was not expecting it, because I remember watching this, and I'm sure I hid it out when I was in high school. Yeah. Anyway, look, this film has a very somewhat unique premise, and it is a fresh take on the classic be careful what you wish for trope, and that adds a very intriguing layer to the horror genre, and it does lead to some very inventive kills. The lead character, the lead antagonist, it's a very charismatic and menacing performance from andrewdivoff, who is, in my opinion, a very underrated actor. And this film has the potential just to be something truly spectacular, fun, and gruesome. Let's see if it is.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure.
Now, I mentioned the cast before, and look, I'll start out with the supporting cast because it is truly outstanding. You can't go wrong with all of these big horror names. Even just little small roles are so much fun to see, and they serve as fun nods to the horror community as a whole. These appearances are likely just to delight fans of the genre and create a sense of community and camaraderie within the horror film world, and it certainly did for me. Just seeing these names pop up in the credits and seeing them on the screen, I was just like, Candyman's in this, Jason Voorhees, reggiebannister, Reggie from Phantasm, with angusscrimm doing narrating, the tall man. Like, you just amazing. I would have loved to know how they got all these actors together because, yeah, I'm sure there's a story behind it. Anyway, our two main leads, and I'm going to start off with andrewdivoff because he is the Djinn. as I said, he's a very charismatic menace, and he brings this just throughout the role, and he delivers lines with this underlying malice, and it's both chilling and somewhat charming as well. It's his ability to switch from a refined, almost gentlemanly demeanor to a monstrous entity that it's impressive, and it makes his portrayal memorable in the realm of horror villains. You know, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, to be honest. After watching this after so long, I forgot how good he was and how chilling he could be. Yeah, his delivery of these lines, it just adds a layer of dark humor to the film, and it's clear that Andrew Divoff was obviously having an absolute blast with this role, which, it just makes it all the more fun to watch. Now, tammylauren as Alexandra provides a very decent counterbalance to Andrew Divoff's character's malevolence. Now, the problem with her performance, and not so much her performance, but her character lacks a lot of depth and nuance, and she falls into the damsel in distress trap, and that archetype is very hard to pull back out of. She does turn it around by the end of it, obviously, and becomes a heroine, but there was just a feeling of desperation and fear that was needed for the role that just wasn't quite there. So now onto the directing and the writing. And look, Robertkurtzman, who is primarily known for his special effects work, brings a very unique visual flair to Wishmaster. Now, the film's direction is serviceable, but it's the practical effects and creature design, that's where Kurtzman really shines. The script, it has flashes of cleverness, especially in the way that it subverts a classic be careful what you wish for trope. The Djinn's malicious interpretations of wishes provide some darkly humorous moments, although these often border on campy. It's Andrew Divoff's performance that sells it really well. The dialogue. Look, it ranges from effectively creepy to awkwardly stilted. The awkwardness primarily comes from tammylauren's performance. When you're having a conversation with someone about a wish-granting genie who's trying to, destroy the world, it's going to be somewhat awkward. And it is more focused on the exposition scenes. Like, that's where the awkwardness comes into it. It feels forced and unnatural. Now, Wishmaster does try to explore various themes of greed, desire, and it taps into the unforeseen consequence of wish fulfillment. And these themes are just touched upon. They're not deeply examined. The film leans heavily into the shock value and gore of its effects, which will satisfy horror enthusiasts looking for that visceral thrill like me. But it does leave little room for any narrative depth or character development. Now, that's not exactly a bad thing. I really enjoyed the fact that it grasped onto the gore and really ramped it up. It was fantastic from the very start. And I'll touch on the effects in a moment. But it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing either. It's just there was room for improvement. Now, one misstep that I felt, or that I noticed, one thing that I felt was lacking in it was, and maybe they will dive into this in the sequels, I don't know yet, but I felt there was more into the mythology of the Djinn. Was there more, who was the Djinn? Was he just an envoy of all of his, brothers and sisters? Are there sisters? I don't know. They didn't really touch on that. There's nothing. They're in the void. That's it. How did he get across originally? Like, what's the story there? There's a lot there which could have been explored. And hey, maybe they will in the sequels, but to me, the Djinn is very similar to someone like the Cenobite's Pinhead, where there's a story there. And I know they've explored the story of Pinhead and the Cenobites in other media, The Djinn, I'm hoping we get a bit more history behind it. Now on to the effects, and special effects are a mixed bag. The physical effects are outstanding, but the CGI is not great. 1997, CGI was not at its peak. It's what lets the film down overall. And it's only a slight thing. The movie is a product of its time, and like I said, the CGI wasn't at its peak. It just takes you out of the film, that's all. Kurtzman's experience in special effects is evident in this, and the film's makeup and creature designs, like I mentioned, are both imaginative and they are disturbing. The way the tendrils move occasionally look really good. The whole face, the body structure, the designs on the body structure of the Djinn look good. The kill scenes look good. There are various deaths that are very creatively executed and look amazing, and these range from body horror to fantastical transformations. Like we've got a alligator man in the very first scene that looks amazing. This guy whose skeleton jumps, like literally rips out of his own body. It looks fantastic. And these are practical gore effects, and it's this, the film relying on the practical over the CGI. It gives it that tangible, visceral feel that horror fans love. It's just that CGI that lets it down. So now on to rewatchability, and look, I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed this one. It was just a fun watch, and 90 minutes just flew by like that. It's got great effects, it's got some fun characters, especially Andrew Divoff's portrayal of the Djinn. Like, the effects are just gruesome. It's really good. And I know I've mentioned the effects a couple of times, so that's because they are so damn good. Will I rewatch this one? I can't believe I haven't rewatched this one, since the 90s. Like, seriously. I'll definitely rewatch this one. So, final verdict and score. And look, it would appear that Wishmaster has earned a bit of a cult following over the years. And look, it is easy to see why, and I am shocked that it's taking me so long to get back into it. So yeah, truly, I do want to say thank you to everyone who voted for this one. You made a great choice. Will it continue on? Well, we'll see. We will see. But this film stands as a fun, somewhat flawed example of late 90s horror, which mixed thrills and chills with a dose of campy charm. If you're in the mood for something that mixes a bit of horror, fantasy, and black comedy, give this a try. But just remember, be careful what you wish for. Overall for a score, Wishmaster gets an 8 out of 10. And there you have it. Thank you very much for watching me talk about this film. This was, what a way to start off another Franchise Friday. Like, this is an amazing, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed this one. Hopefully, if you've seen this one, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, because I really want to hear, other people's thoughts on this, because, am I wrong? Is this movie not that great? Oh, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course. I want to hear what yours are. Let me know what you thought of this film down in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, it'd be much appreciated. And of course, you've listened to me ramble on about this film so far, hit that subscribe button, and of course, the notification bell. If you hit that, you'll be notified every time I do release a new review. Anyway, before I drabble on too much, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.